Hello chess fans, this is a quick recap of MVL's first game of round 2 World Cup. He's playing Indian Grandmaster SS Ganguly, who is very strong, and he's famously known to be the second of Viswanathan. So this game starts out as a French defense, but MVL opts for a low theory sideline in order to take Ganguly out of his preparations. MVL fianchettos his bishop, and Ganguly goes for h5. So he keeps the idea of opening the h file to attack white skin if he tries to castle kingside. This possibility to be open. So this is a common idea when one player fianchettos his bishop to develop an attack like this. MVL plays h3 in order to meet h4 with g4. This keeps the king side closed. Now black had to find a way to develop his knight, because after knight f6 it could be potentially hit with the e5 or g5. So he plays bishop d6, and after d3 with the idea of bringing the knight to e7. So white played d3. He activates his knight. Probably the other knight would go to c6. MVL plays queen d1, knight e7, and pawn f4. So he has a huge center, and this low theory sideline has worked out very well for MVL here. And black has to be very careful. He needs to find a way to finish his development and activate his pieces. He plays g5. This is clearly a mistake, because this is probably he wanted to close the king side and castle, but MVL plays e5. So he has a clear plan now. After bishop b8 he takes on g5. Very creative and very original. MVL gives up this central pawn for open e file and f file. Now he plays knight e4. The idea is to use these weak squares, dark squares around the black king. So after d5 he plays knight f6 check, bishop f6, pawn f6, knight g6. Now it may seem that f6 pawn is weak, and white has given up the lead in the development, but MVL is very thorough. He plays c3 first, kicking the knight away, and plays knight f3. He doesn't care about this f6 pawn. As we will see, after capturing this pawn he just castles king side. Now because he has two bishops, all his weaknesses are covered, and also he has pressure on this f file with his rook. So black has to move the queen away anyway, and here MVL plays a very instructive move c4. Now the problem for black is he cannot castle on this side, because already the position is quite open on the king side, and on the queen side if he plays for example d4 here, then the bishop is very active and it makes no sense to castle queen side here. So MVL is opening up the center, the classic idea of opening the center when the opponent's king is stuck in the center. Now if he plays bishop d7, then there is c takes d5 and e takes d5, and MVL gets his rook, and this is seems to be very scary. So he chooses to capture, which turns out to be worse. And after this MVL now black tries to castle after playing bishop d7, but MVL gets in knight g5. Now we cannot castle anymore because f7 is hanging. He tried f6, knight e4, still there is a threat on f6. Now he castles anyway and gives up this pawn. Now the material is equal, but if we see the white's pieces, they are very active and restricting black's pieces. This bishop is very passive. It hardly has only one square to go to, and this knight is on g6 is misplaced. So Black is in trouble here. He plays bishop e8, and after queen f1. Now white is also trying to develop his bishop. um, he tried knight d4 in order to bring the bishop to c6 and like give some air to his pieces. But after bishop g5, now the threats are coming very fast. He has to move the queen. After the queen moves, there is rook f2. Now there is no square for this, sensible square for this rook, because all the d5 is covered, d6 is covered. If he plays rook d7, he is blocking his own bishop, and how to bring the bishop out, it's very hard. If he tries something like now white can simply play rook e1, activating his final piece, and black doesn't have a clear plan. If he plays knight e7, trying to bring the bishop to g6, there is rook f8, and the bishop is pinned. If he plays rook takes f8, queen takes f8, queen is clearly an unwanted intruder, and all his pieces are stuck. So it's very instructive how Grandmaster MVL thinks, and he just restricts the opponent's pieces ruthlessly here in this game. So instead of playing rook d7 and blocking his own bishop, Ganguly tries bishop c6 and gives up his rook, which is actually the best move. He sacrifices the exchange, and then MVL plays rook e1, and now he is clearly winning. He has to just get to an end game, exchange the queens, which he does it in style. Plays rook f7, intruding with the rook, exchanges one rook, and now brings in the queen. Probably he will play queen d6 and exchange the queen. He plays very sensible, very easy endgame positional chess. So he exchanges the bishop and then plays rook e3, covering his probably his only weakness on the board, h3 pawn, and then knight e4. Now black also has to worry about another weakness. He's an exchange down. Now he has to worry about all his pawn weaknesses on e5, h4, c5, and so on. So here just black resigned. It's hopeless against a player like MVL.